Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk to you guys about doing Uber for the very first time, and we're going to go over a couple of key points. One, kind of getting over that first nervous feeling to hit the go online button. Secondly, kind of just some tips and tricks and things that I thought about throughout my first couple of trips during my first day. And then lastly, I actually want to talk to you guys about the direct or instant pay and how it works, because I wasn't so sure what to think about it or if it would be immediate. So I want to get to that and explain that after we talk about how much I actually got paid on my first day. So to be really honest with you guys, the first time that I hit the go online button was actually this past Wednesday, and I started off in my driveway. Finally, I said, I have to do this. My pitfalls, and just be honest with yourself about like why you're nervous about going online for the first time. For me, it was that I had just bought a car. I hadn't been a regular driver in over 2 years. And also, I had never been a regular driver in this town, in this area in the South where I live now. The last time that I drove a car regularly every day was when I lived in Colorado. So that was where a lot of my reservations were. So I waited about 5 days. I think I had my car for about 5 days when I went live for the first time. It was just after I kind of got the feeling for driving around again and felt comfortable accepting passengers. So I just forced myself to do it. I sat in my car and I had everything ready. I had printed off the Uber signs at my work. I laminated them. I taped them in my window. I had a mount for my phone, which I had seen a previous video from somebody and they said that was critical, and I completely agree. So I had my phone mounted on my dash, so I was never having to worry about dropping it or trying to read it on my lap for directions. It's literally kind of right up in front of me the whole time. You can control Pandora and everything right there at your fingertips without taking your eyes away from the road. That is one of the hugest things that I will suggest that you do for starting Uber. And lastly, I had a couple snacks. I had mints and gum in my car. Nobody used any of them, but it was just one of the suggestions. And another YouTube video that I had watched that actually suggested, or I think maybe it was actually an article I read, suggested that you be an Uber passenger before you ever become an Uber driver, which I also highly recommend. It was one of the reasons why I felt so comfortable becoming an Uber driver, was that previously, and not having a car here for 2 years, I've probably gone on hundreds of Uber trips here in this area specifically. So I understood what the drivers were doing, what drivers did that I liked or enjoyed, or how people interacted with me and how I felt about it. So that gave me a really good perspective on what it meant to be an Uber driver. So let's talk about me going live for the first time. Like I said, it was a Wednesday night and I was in my parking lot, in my driveway, because I wasn't sure, there was no surge areas going on. I didn't know where exactly I should go. And I thought, well, I've used Uber. Where do I get Uber from? So I just kind of drove around the areas in my town where I've requested Uber from before, and literally nothing happened. So I thought, okay, well, about 12 miles away is a more touristy town, which is actually the town that I work in. So I said, I'll just jet across the island and go check that out and see if anything's popping over there. And sure enough, I drove around and still nothing. I was online the entire time. I was starting to worry, is something wrong? I know I've been approved, but am I missing this step? I was getting a little bit freaked out. So I just kept making goals. And I'd say if I make it to a certain place, I'm just going to pull off and just go watch the sunset on the beach, which is pretty much what I did. I think, honestly, I just went during kind of a lull time. I think I started at 7:30 and ended around 8:30. My actual time online total that night was just about an hour. So the entire first night was a bust. Any other YouTube video that I watched about somebody's first Uber trip, they all said the same thing. Oh, I got my first ping in 2 to 3 minutes. So boom, 1 hour on the books, nothing. And I was like, it got me over the initial jitters, and I was like, okay, I just want a trip just to like prove to myself, or like be able to call my boyfriend and say like, I did it, I'm making money. But there was literally nothing. So I hung out on the beach a little bit, turned Uber back on, drove around, stopped at Target parking lot, like sat there. So I drove around and kind of just sat different places where I thought maybe people would be that first night. But like I said, as it started to get to like 8:39, I do have a full-time job. So Uber is just my part-time job. Like I usually go to bed between 9 and 10. So I didn't really want to be out too late. And I was totally fine with that I had actually gotten over my initial fear of starting the go online. And so even though my first night was kind of a bust, it wasn't entirely a bust. It was still a learning experience. So the next night though, I felt ready to go. And what I really like to do is while I'm at work, I just kind of turn on the Uber app and I'll just glance at it and just kind of notice like, oh, there's a surge going on now. It's at this location. There's a surge now. There's at this location. So the next day was Thursday, and I noticed like 350, dude, surges were like going off the charts, like 4 times surges. And I'm like, oh, I still have like an hour and 10 minutes left to work and I'm stuck here and there's all these crazy surges going on. So I was like getting really antsy, and I was like, you know what? I'm already out here in like a tourist area. I thought as soon as I get done work today, I'm going to go out to the parking lot, throw all my personal belongings into my trunk, and just go online. So I did. So Thursday is now where we're going to have some of the success. I was like ready. I was kind of amped up, and like I said, I'd gotten over that initial fear of just going online. So I hit the go online and don't really notice anything, but I thought, okay, I'll drive down. It was a rainy day. So I was like, I'll drive down to like where there's a lot of shopping, because there's tourists gonna definitely be hanging out there today. It's raining, there's a movie theater, they can't go to the beach. So let me go check that out. So I start driving down towards there, and I want to say it was under 10 minutes. I want to say maybe like 5 to 7 minutes. I got my first ping, which is actually just north of where I worked. So I had to flip totally around and go back. I was actually better off. I should have just stayed in my parking lot. And went and picked up my very first Uber trip. It was totally fine. I mean, I don't have any issues talking to people. I'm an extrovert. Sometimes I am shy, but in this situation, I didn't feel nervous or anything about talking to the driver. I was more nervous that I was picking him up kind of like in an upscale part of town, and and I was like, you know, hopefully I don't go over the speed limit. You know, they have like those golf cart paths and all this other crap. So I was like, okay, I don't want to, you know, get pulled over in my first Uber ride. But he was just going on a short trip. He was really cool. He's like, oh man, I'll take you the back ways. And I was like, huge advantage, huge tip right here. Knowing the back ways, especially if you live in a busy town, is helpful. And I do have to do a huge kudos and shout out to Uber. I used Uber's navigation system, and it did not push me onto the busy main road at all. I was super impressed with that. It actually led me on the back road path. So kudos Uber for your navigation. Your robot voice is annoying, but I was glad that it didn't, you know, push me out to basically a straight up traffic jam. So my first trip was great. He gave me 5 stars. He gave me a $3 tip. His fare was like $8 and change maybe. So then I started driving. I noticed that there was a surge after I dropped him off. And so I was like, oh, I'm just going to just beeline towards the surge. And before I even reached the surge, I got a ping for somebody down near the beach. And I picked up 3 boys who had just come from the airport all the way out. And this would have been a big trip. And they got dropped off at a hotel. Well, their previous Uber driver actually dropped them off at the incorrect hotel. The boys just had the wrong address. So I picked them up and I only took them, I think it was 7 miles away I was taking them, but there was nasty traffic, and I picked them up. I'm going to guess it was probably a 2-time surge. I might be able to go back and look at my trip to see exactly what the surge price was. So I took them to the correct hotel during a surge time, and there was a lot of traffic, and that trip was $24, I believe. So after that, I was feeling pretty dang good. And when I'm telling you that these are the prices that I'm getting, Uber shows you the price, the actual amount that you are receiving. They don't show you what their cut is. So that was what I was concerned with when I first looked at it. I was like, oh gosh, so are they gonna still take money off of the top of like what they're showing me I just earned? No, that's literally your earnings, which is really, really great. So I dropped those boys off at the correct hotel. They also gave me a $3 tip, and when I say that they've given me $3 tips, these are all in app. So this is the updated app that I'm using. This is June of 2018. So a lot of my first Uber ride videos were done a year or more ago, so they aren't utilizing the newest app. So this is the latest and hottest information because this happened this week here in mid-June. So dropped those guys off. I was super excited, but I hadn't had dinner and I had been online for a little while, and after traffic and I made it back to the other town, I decided to stop along the way at my mom's work and just say hi to her and let her know that I had gone on some trips. I had put her in as my emergency contact, so she was supposed to get a text when I started a trip. That isn't working. It still isn't working. My boyfriend is another contact, and neither of them are getting the messages. I don't know why, but I do like that feature. But I stopped in, and I talked to my mom, and I just had to use the restroom, and I hadn't eaten at all, and I'm 5 months pregnant, so she fed me some chips and hummus, and I just hung out with her for a little bit, and then I decided to make my way back towards my town, and I got another ping, like literally as I was about to pull down my street, I got another ping. A couple, their battery had died at a local restaurant, like maybe a mile from my house. So I went, picked them up, took them to the AutoZone so they could get a new battery, and then flipped around and took them back to their car. So that was a bare minimum trip, which I guess is $4 is what you can make at a minimum, from an Uber ride. So, but you know, it was really good and definitely worth it. All in all, that day they also gave me a tip. I'm going to pull up what I made, but I realized that this is going to be mirror image. I made $41.81 on my first official really doing Uber day, not a day where I just got nothing but rejections. That was 3 trips. $41.81. Not bad at all. I think I spent that night about 2 hours online. So that's, I mean, pretty damn good. That's really good. I mean, like I said, this is just supplemental income for me. I have a baby due. I'm trying to stash up some extra money. This is not my main job. I have a 8 to 5 Monday through Friday job that I work every day of the week. So I thought Uber would be a great opportunity for me to kind of get ahead. Got a lot of medical bills coming up. Like I said, I'm pregnant. I have 2 other kids. I still support my ex-husband. So it was just really, really, really awesome that I can literally just turn this app on when I have nothing better to do than to go out and make some money. So, so I also want to talk to you guys about Instant Pay. Holy crap, is this a great feature. You can set up in your account, and I actually did it online when I did mine. It's under payment. There's on-demand payments, and you can put your debit card in there. Now, my bank, like at my work, we get direct deposit. Everyone gets their direct deposit on Wednesday, and mine doesn't come through till like 5 a.m. on Friday morning, which really ticks me off. So I was really worried about the Instant Pay, and I thought, okay, they'll send it. So I actually cashed it out that night because my boyfriend had a softball tournament on Friday, and I was like, oh, just in case, you know, anything happens, I have this money and maybe it'll take a day to process. So I went and used Uber's app, and I did the cash out now. I had already put my credit card information, or my debit card, I guess, information in there. And I expected like maybe by noon the next day to have this money actually be available to me. I wasn't sure what it was going to look like coming into my account. So I transferred the money. It kind of spun for a minute, and then it popped up a note that said like your instant pay has gone through. And I pulled up my bank app, and sure enough, it already showed up in there and was 100% available. Like I could have gone to the ATM and cashed it out, and that only costs 50 cents. It's a 50-cent instant transfer. You literally cannot beat that. So if you're ever like in a bind and you have at least enough money for gas, you can go out and Uber and make money and like instantly transfer it. Like, I mean, I'm just saying it's good to have that peace of mind, especially if you're an individual that lives paycheck to paycheck. So I was extremely pleased. Overall, I've been very, very pleased with my Uber experience. 3 rides, each of them gave me a tip. All 3 different trips gave me 5 stars, which is great. Just be friendly, be yourself, be presentable. Remember, you're representing Uber as a brand, but you're kind of still an extension of that brand. So for me, it's kind of the same take that I have when I, go live on a Twitch stream, because I'm also a gamer. Or if I'm, getting ready to make a YouTube video, I always make sure that I look somewhat presentable to the public. Make sure you smell good, make sure your car is clean. I did pick up the 3 boys that I picked up. They had gone out and looked at the beach. They were from somewhere else, and they wanted to see the beach. So while they were waiting, they went and looked on the beach. So it was full of sand. And all I did was I just took out the floor mats and I just shook them out outside of my car. It wasn't anything that I thought like I needed to run and go get my damn car detailed. Like, just think smart, keep things clean and presentable, make things simple. I do have car chargers for pretty much every kind of type of phone in my car, so that helps. Just be nice to people, be friendly, get over that first nervousness of, hitting go live. And also I recommend checking out other people's YouTube videos. So if you're watching this one, awesome. There's a bunch of great channels on Uber drivers or Lyft drivers. The other thing that I would recommend is the very first thing that I did, which I would say not to do, is I joined a local rideshare Facebook group. And I'll tell you what, those people are mean and ugly, and they are not supportive. They view you as competition, and they are mean. I made like a really simple post about how excited I was to do it, and asked if anybody in this area had any tips and tricks, and some guy was like, go get a full-time job. I was like, and he said a lot of other mean things too. No kidding. And I'm pretty sure I've had him as an Uber driver before, because these are all local people. Like, these people have driven me around. So I don't post in the Facebook group anymore, but I will be posting in the YouTube. And I definitely have some channels that are inspiring and motivating me. So I'm going to continue to watch a lot of the YouTube channels on Uber driving, and I think it's a great program. So if you already have a job, or you're a student and you're just looking for a little extra money, or just to get ahead or make ends meet or whatever, I highly suggest Uber. And actually, I should totally put my code in this video somewhere, because if we do a referral, I think we each get money, which is really cool. I'll take more money. It's like $50 too. So I'll try to include that in the comments or in the information section. So thank you guys for watching. Please feel free to share your stories, your tips and tricks for Uber. And also, I highly recommend making a YouTube channel, because if you're already making money with Uber, I mean, the best way to get rich is to have multiple forms of income. So YouTube has in the past and will continue in the future to be another just really nice place for me to get extra income. So consider making a YouTube channel if you want to share your story as well. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this really long video. I hope it was helpful. Bye.